care about. So it's like, I also don't work with Amazon a whole lot because I like to support small retail, because retail is very much suffering right now. And like, especially since the Toys R Us, Babies R Us bankruptcy last year.
I saw that they were going to try to make a revamp.
They're doing like pop-up stores where you can go in and look at stuff and have it shipped. But personally,
I love Toys R Us.
I loved Toys R Us. I dreamed as a child of winning that toy run.
Yeah.
But they went bankrupt, $5 billion in the hole. And
is that chapter 11?
Their CEOs and everybody, they were getting all these bonuses, but they owe everybody in the industry money. Like, I have friends who had to shut their companies down because of the bankruptcy.
Oh,
and so, like, fuck them. Anybody that works with that company ever again, like, good luck.
It's like working for Deadspin.
Like, God, I remember though, like having to do something or whatever, and then my mom being like, if we do all this and you get through the day, we'll go to Toys R Us, and you got like $15. And that was enough for an action figure or something. Or GAC.
It was definitely...
GAC was the best.
GAC was great. I collected...
Floam. You got GAC, you got Floam,
you
got all of it.
Stuff that had like little beads and
styrofoam in it.
Crunch. What's it called? And then we had a lot of wrestling caricatures. Like
the muscle figures, the little bitty ones.
Yeah, they were...
The little bitty pink ones.
No, like actual wrestlers, like WWF guys. I can't remember.
I had this toy.
Ninja Turtles.
I had a toy that we got in high school at a drama tournament once, and it was called the Grossinator. Did you ever have one of these? It was like this little.
Zane, look.
I've tried to get them. I've tried to get them online, and it is like this voice box toy. So you would hit it, and it would just like not really make like fart noises or anything, but there would be 3 buttons. So it would be like the first button would be like, how about it's time for you look like you need. It's all some kind of intro. And then the second button was an adjective. And then the third was this thing. So you would hit randomize and it would be like, it's time for a long, stinky booger. And booger was the funniest because it put an M in front of it for some reason. So it'd be like, booger.
What was your toy that you never got? And this is for both y'all, because I feel like we're almost in holiday mode here. What was the toy you never got but you always wanted, like in the Christmas in Santa Claus?
Ooh,
you know how what's his name always wanted the little Oscar Mayer wiener whistle? Neil, the stepdad. What was your toy that you never had that you wanted? Because I wanted the Jeep that you could like sit in and drive, but it would only be like 4 miles.
Power wheels.
I got that.
I got that.
I got that.
We were very, very broke.
Yeah. See, we did a lot of rollerblading and tag. Tag was a lot of games in our.
I got the Jeep one year. It was over at a friend's house. I got it taken there, and then one year I remember I got the Fisher-Price 3-in-1 pool table.
Okay.
It was like pool table, air hockey, and fucking ping pong.
I remember that.
It was legit as fuck, but I really wanted like a air hockey like table. Like
the real at church a lot.
Yeah, the real one with like the it had the air, and
where
the
you could
thing.
Feel it with all the small holes on top.
Kind of like arcade style.
They had that at the roller rink.
I never got that.
We had a roller skating rink in my church.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is Arkansas. The churches are probably pretty fucking...
I like to call the big churches Six Flags Over Jesus.
That's fair.
That would be a great theme park.
And those guys?
They're so big. Like, help some poor people out.
Oh my God. Six Flags Over Jesus.
Six Flags Over Jesus.
That's an idea we can run with. We could have like a water park where like the wave pool
parts.
Yes.
Just like there's like
it just floods everybody.
It'd be Moses fish and chips, and the wave pool would like split, and you'd walk up to Moses and get like you got some fish and chips. Right, or like Moses' manna. It'd be Moses manna, but it's shaved ice.
Endless possibilities.
Yeah.
That's a lot of y'all are sitting on a goddamn
So since we are on this holiday season,
favorite gift you had growing up? What was
I never got a whole lot of stuff because we were poor. So I always wanted like a Super Nintendo, which I never got. We always wanted a Teddy Ruxpin, and I never got one of those either.
I don't remember. Okay, now you're acting 30, man. I don't know. I don't remember Teddy Ruxpin.
Teddy Ruxpin was like the precursor to Chucky, and it was a teddy bear, and he had this creepy ass caterpillar, and they could talk to each other and tell you stories.
What was your so since you're 30 and I'm just under 30, was like Rugrats Doug, is that too old for you?
Ren and Stimpy? Snick?
Ren and
Oh,
Stimpy
yeah.
was
Snick was my favorite.
Ren and Stimpy was like real
was
filthy.
way
That was
above.
high school. That was high school for me, though. It's like,
was it?
I still have my Rude Toot Stimpy in my apartment. You can squeeze him any farts.
Ren and Stimpy
Heavy,
was
it's
way ahead
wood.
of its
It's
time.
log. It's better than bad. It's good. I know them all.
So,
Snick was also just really good because you had Ren and Stimpy, you had
Kenny
Doug,
Kel.
they all kind of rotated, so you would have like Roundhouse at one point.
That was a good
You
show
would get
early.
Are
That
You
was,
Afraid
like,
of the
all
Dark?
that- all that
yeah.
was in there.
Are You Afraid of the Dark is back now.
That scared the shit
that gave
out
me
of
the
me.
willies.
I loved it.
And so you're a big, and we can talk about that too, since we just
Goosebumps.
passed Halloween.
Horror
you're
movie
a
nerd.
big horror movie
Huge.
fucking weirdo. This guy will go to him by himself, and he'll go to the same one like 6, 7
Sure did.
times. It's fucking weird.
Best horror movie you've seen in the past 2 years.
Dr. Sleep, the sequel to The Shining. I've seen it twice in a week.
He was talking about that at
It's
happy hour
absolutely the best horror movie I've seen in a long time.
Okay, since we were talking about like holiday season and gifts, what's the craziest Did you ever work Black Friday at this baby
No.
store?
Well, it also like Black Friday wasn't a thing at the baby store. Like I would work, but it wasn't like
Black Friday was
people
a Toys R Us thing
people
for
are going
us.
into like toy stores and like Best Buy for that.
Right.
Strollers and car seats, there's no margin, so there's never sales. So it's not like you go in, you're like, oh, everybody's getting 50% off this stroller today. No, because then you make absolutely no money.
So the markup on that is not as high as like the wrestling
Clothing.
figures.
Yeah.
Clothing.
Clothing and toys and stuff like that. Typically
TVs.
it's like what we call like a 50 point. So you pay $10 wholesale and then you can sell it for 20. Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
The clientele at this baby store, were we talking six figures?
All over the place.
All over the place.
Much. I sold, there was a
You
woman.
You don't sell no scrubs.
If people came in and they had money and they wanted stuff, we would sell. Like, we had people
That's
come in
usually-
with bags of
that's
change. We had
capitalism.
people come in with bags of change. People came in from Europe because at that time the exchange rate was so good. They could come in, they could fly from Europe, have dinner, see a Broadway show, and buy a $1,000 stroller and fly back home cheaper than they could buy the stroller in their own country. So we had a lot of foreign clientele. I sold a woman $1,200 strollers for her Chihuahua so she could push her dog.
It concerns me that strollers can be that expensive.
They're made differently. There's a whole different thing. Like the higher end strollers are actually engineered. They're not like produced. There's a difference. So at a lot of these factories in China, the companies can go and like, I want this chassis, these wheels, I want that color, I want the hood to look like that, and then it's produced and they can sell it. But this same factory is pumping out basically the same 6 or 7 strollers, and they all just have different names to all these manufacturers. So the higher end strollers, when you get into like Bugaboo and some other stuff like that, they're actually engineered, and it takes like 6 or 7 years to engineer a stroller, and then they produce them.
God, wouldn't that be awesome to have like a business card like baby stroller engineer?
I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff that will probably never come to market, and it's just like,
What's the craziest thing you've seen in like demo phases? Is it like where they swing a baby and like,
it
and
better
hits
have
a
a
pole and it's like, oh, this helmet doesn't work.
It better have a fucking iPhone charger on it.
there
Maybe
was a
Bluetooth
stroller.
speaker.
There was a stroller that did. There are a couple strollers that will charge your phone.
Yeah.
It's like the new travel bags, like the away bags. They're no free ads.
Oh, see, I prefer another line of suitcases, but that's just me.
So do you spend a bunch of time on the road? What's your like?
Probably half my year.
Half your year?
Yeah, if not more.
What's your favorite city to hit up for personal and just have fun? All right, if you're gonna have to be
In Canada, Vancouver.
Yeah.
Vancouver's the shit. The food's great. Energy's good. It's beautiful.
I hear Vancouver's awesome.
It's expensive. It's really expensive. I think it's actually the most expensive city in North America right now.
I think I've heard it's like we've had a friend
San Francisco,
who's
New York,
interviewing and stuff up there, and I've heard like it's comparable
outrageous.
to San Francisco.
Yeah. Love it up there. In the States, I would say I love Portland and Seattle, San Francisco.
Northwest.
Yeah, but even before I
West?
moved here, I was always like, hell yeah, I get to go to Denver for 3 days for work, you know. So when I was leaving New York, I mean, I had a very, very small list of cities that I would even consider living in, and this was on it. So thank you. I'm part of your problem, but I don't have a car, so I'm not.
We are actually also part of the problem, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We're not here to speak on behalf of the natives.
So now that we kind of hopped into Colorado, how long have you been out here in Denver now?
Just over 3 years.
Just over 3 years.
But
you're like a baby.
But it's still like I kind of know my places.
Zinger.
Good pun there. I kind of know my places now as I'm slowly like figuring out, but I'm also just never home. So I do very much still feel like a newbie here, even though like there are places that, you know, my friends
like you know where you want to go eat if you want casual Chinese or Mexican. That
I know my places, but like there's always so many other restaurants opening up. And because I'm never home, I don't really have time to go try all of them, even though I would, because when I come home, because I eat in restaurants half the year when I'm traveling, I like to cook.
Yeah.
So like I come home and I try to cook almost every meal.
Well, Chris, you just did a perfect segue, but the only thing you forgot to say, and I got a little bit of weed in my nose, so I may sneeze, is that this Denver Hotspots is presented to you by Live Nation. So we may just dive right into some of not only the favorite dishes you like to cook at home, but also some of the favorite spots you like to hit when you are in fact home. So shout out to Live Nation. Go check them out. We got a whole docket.
Live Nation can sponsor me. I will present something by Live Nation.
They're fantastic.
Let's back the fuck off. We've got Live Nation right now, okay? So, baby guy, you just pump the brakes there on your Bugaboo stroller.
I thought that was just like an insert word here. I didn't know that was an actual
So
name.
what's funny about Bugaboo is that and then we'll continue. So as a name,
it's great.
Bugaboo, when they first made the stroller, they sent literature out to all the stores. And they were like, when we were developing this stroller, it was part of a class project that was built. It was a bike trailer, and then they turned it into a stroller. So in the book they give you to read, they're like, we designed the stroller, and we opened the dictionary, and our finger landed on Bugaboo, and it meant no boundaries without limits. And that's what we wanted this stroller to be, because you could push it anywhere. But I know, because I'm no idiot, it's also based on listen to the lyrics in Destiny's Child. Bugaboo means constant problem or source of worry or a little evil spirit. A bugaboo is something that bothers you. So I also think it's hysterical that the stroller company.
I agree with the second definition.
Named their stroller like this stroller is a constant problem.
Well, yeah.
It's actually not.
I tell you, it is a constant problem. If I was paying $1,500 for a fucking stroller, something is a problem there.
But this one never breaks. Nothing ever goes wrong.
I could break it.
I bet we
could fucking break it.
When I was getting
the episode of The Office when he's just
that's the Orbit stroller. Yeah.
So is that a thing?
It was, and it's just
and Oscar's
it's
like
just
that's a $1,300 stroller. Our gift is very shitty.
The Orbit, I think once you buy all of the Orbit pieces, it's about $1,900, $2,000 because it's car seats as well.
That? Shout out to the moms that are buying
a lot of people.
Yeah, shout out for you caring for your kids' safety. But I would prefer the Walmart.
What's your stance on kids on leashes?
I think
backpack leashes.
We used them with my nieces, and you don't think you're going to. You think you're going to be like, oh, I can't use a toddler leash. Yeah, you can.
Like going to the state fair, we're all from the South. I mean, leashes are a thing.
The leashes, I wouldn't say keep your kids on them all the time, but certain circumstances.
You didn't have 3 Wilsons at one time. Pray for my parents.
No, my sister has lots of children. So
did she use the leashes?
She sure did.
Did she come to you for baby?
She worked with me. So like when my sister had the twins are 9 now. And so when the twins were born, Jennifer at one point had 18 double strollers in her garage because the companies just sent us everything so we could like play with it and try it out.
Nice.
So like,
yeah. Repurpose those on OfferUp.
And we just give them away to friends and stuff like that, We can't.
You can, but
I know,
but
ethics.
I hear you.
You know what you can do?
It's
you can
frowned
give them
upon.
To me.
I donate them. I donate them to everybody.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's nice of you.
You're a sweetheart.
Yeah. So before we were talking about kids, we were talking about something probably cool. But I forgot. We were talking. We were doing our dinner.
Places in Denver.
Yeah. So let's talk. You're not here too terribly often, but when you are, what's your happy hour go to that you like to? If people wanted to come bombard you and say hey to you like they did today.
If I'm gonna go to happy hour, I will always go to Green Russell.
Down there in the Larimer Square area?
I'd been going there before I moved here. So I mean, I think I've been going there since just after they opened.
I like the Green Russell.
I like it. They do a solid old fashioned and lots of drinks there, and it's just chill because
Are they open at happy hour times?
No, but every hour is happy. They open at 5.
Touche.
Okay, that's fair.
I just don't make it down there that much,
Yeah.
but when I do, and when I go to Green Russell, I've always had a.
I've always
good
thought
drink.
of it as like a late night kind of.
No,
spot.
5 o'clock they open. 5 o'clock they open. So I like that. I like Finn's Manor.
That's a good
love Finn's Manor. Every place over there. Matchbox is great. Ophelia's is good.
Those are our friends over at Edible Beats. Ophelia's is a real snack.
Yeah.
They have a good happy hour deals as well.
It's also good,
snacks
like,
and drink
sometimes
wise.
if you go to the airport early and you can go to Route Down too, that's some pretty good airport eating.
That's my jam.